I don't want them to kill my kids. Afghan translator's desperate journey from the clutches of the Taliban to a new life in the US, we hope to make it and survive. Shirzad, 34, a former interpreter for United States Special Forces, said in a video filmed as they drove through Taliban checkpoints on August 20th. It's too tough to live here. We live in fear every day. The hot air was filled with the blaring horns of cars and motorbikes, as thousands of people crammed around the airport's perimeter. Aircraft arrived and took off in the distance as desperate Afghans tried scaling the airport walls, hoping to get on an evacuation flight. As the crowds pushed forward, they became caught in the pandemonium. Shirzad hurt his leg jumping over the wall. His 8-year-old son was nearly trampled. Soon after, his 2-year-old son became sick with diarrhea. They made it out of the mayhem in one piece, but their hopes of escape were once again dashed. They returned home, not knowing which day might be their last. As an interpreter for U.S. forces for 5 years, Shirzad had faced enemy militants on battlefields alongside U.S. soldiers. But now, that role was a target on his back. Though the Taliban said they would not harm those who worked with foreign forces, revenge attacks have been reported. One interpreter was dragged out of his car and beheaded by Taliban militants in May, according to witnesses.
I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be killed by the Taliban. I don't want them to kill my kids. Please, somebody, help me. But it seemed he was on his own. The US military terminated his contract in 2013, and when he applied in 2015 for a special immigrant visa to the US, an immigration category for Afghan nationals employed by the American government, it was rejected the following year. He undoubtedly saved lives. Shirzad was excited to work with the Americans when he took the job as an interpreter in 2007. He quickly became a vital and beloved teammate, say his colleagues, who Shirzad refers to as his American brothers. In a recommendation letter, one lieutenant commander described Shirzad's courage and poise in harrowing circumstances, adding that he never hid, he never shied from challenge or danger. Others called him a valuable and necessary asset who undoubtedly saved the lives of Americans and Afghans alike. One Navy SEAL described encountering a bomb during a mission. After the explosion took place, he assisted me with taking charge of the Afghans to return fire while we got the injured Americans to the medical evacuation helicopter, he wrote in his recommendation letter. It would have been impossible for me to complete that mission, let alone any of the others, if it wasn't for him. Shirzad's contract was terminated by the US military in 2013 after he failed a routine polygraph test. Shirzad said he has no idea what he did wrong and never received an explanation. When his 2015 SIV visa application was rejected, the US Embassy cited a lack of faithful and valuable service in its letter. In the US State Department's most recent report on the SIV program in April, it said applicants denied for this reason generally have involved cases lacking the requisite positive recommendation or evaluation. The scramble to escape after Shirzad's failed attempt to enter the airport on August 20th. He knew time was running out to get his family to safety. The US was set to end its operations in Afghanistan on August 31st, after which there would be no more evacuation flights. The Taliban controlled the rest of Kabul and nearly all of Afghanistan, meaning the airport was Shirzad's only shot. And, after the chaos of his last attempt, he couldn't afford to place his children in danger again by trying to shove through the crowds. He and his family packed up their belongings and left before dawn on Sunday, August 22nd. They traveled to a rendezvous point close to the airport, where they were picked up along with 9 other people looking to escape. They were driven to the south side of the airport, then walked to the nearby Barron Hotel, which has previously housed diplomats and foreign visitors. The hotel, a heavily secure compound with a 4-meter-high perimeter wall and 5 guard towers, has recently been expanded into a base for British soldiers and other allies to process evacuees before bringing them into the airport. "We're good. We're inside now, thank you so much," Shirzad said in a video filmed from the compound. "We are so close to the gate." It seemed like a straight shot to the airport from there. The group was picked up by US Special Forces and taken to the nearby Abbey Gate, which was manned by US Marines and had become the main entry point to the airport. But when they arrived at the gate, the Marines refused them entry because they didn't have a visa. They were ordered to go back, despite the presence of special forces who had escorted them there. "We made it. We are really excited," said Shirzad in a video film from inside the airport terminal. In the video, his children hang onto his shoulders, gap-toothed grins stretching ear to ear, while his toddler babbles happily. The family waited for nearly 2 days at the airport, as thousands of fellow Afghans were airlifted to safety. During that time, several Navy SEALs and commanders who had worked with Shirzad all those years ago rallied to help, sending in letters of recommendation. "He quite literally exemplifies what our nation looks for in those that are seeking citizenship in our great country," read one letter from a lieutenant commander. "I would fight to have him on my team again if given the chance." Finally, it was their turn to hop on an evacuation plane, the family eventually landing in Bahrain on August 24th. They spent the night in a room on a US military base, where they got to shower and enjoy some much-needed sleep in air conditioning after several days in the hot, dusty outdoors. Early the next morning, someone said, "Pack your stuff up, you've got a flight," Shirzad said in a video filmed as the family took a bus to another plane. "We still don't know where we are heading to, so hopefully it's the US." They were brimming with excitement and high spirits during the flight. At one point, the 2-year-old fell off his seat and continued napping on the floor by Shirzad's feet. His wife began laughing, saying Shirzad had fallen off their bunk bed the previous night while sleeping as well. Families left behind. Shirzad and his family are now discovering the perks and curiosities of American life, while staying at an army base in Fort Lee, Virginia. They find the army base's dining hall fascinating, and have discovered a love for fried chicken, ice cream, milk and protein bars. They aren't allowed off base, so Shirzad and his sons spend their spare time playing soccer on lush grassy fields within the base.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.